Gracias, Carlos. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so you're, okay.
Call the meeting to order. It's 12:06, Friday afternoon. Mr. Velez,
We have a public comment.
turn your microphone on.
Yeah, we have a public comment regarding a brick wall in El Alamo building, and Mr. Bayi is going to do all the public comment. You have already the drawings on your place, and remember that as a public comment, you do not take any decision, but I think that Fernando is going to explain sufficiently clearly so you would see what is the update, and probably you would simply agree with that.
Yes.
Identify yourself.
I'm Fernando Bayi, the owner for 902 East Adams, Lucio Bui's building. I contacted THC, Texas Historical Commission, told them our intent, wanting to build a wall, possibly some pergolas in the future. Told them, I sent them some plans. They said that, I told them everything was going to go through Juan, and I think I got their approval to say it didn't pertain to them as long as we get Juan's approval and your all's approval on it. My tenant has submitted some drawings. We've taken a look at a couple of different walls, like Mr. Hinojosa's building that has the brick columns and the brick bottom with aluminum on top with the little picos to make it look like wrought iron. And I've also shown them the brick wall that's on Adams, the solid brick wall, every fifth or sixth course being the half brick to make it look like it's tied on both sides. Originally, they didn't think they would be able to do the solid brick wall, so they cut it down to part brick and part aluminum to make it look like the aluminum that looks like wrought iron with the little picos. And now our understanding that the brick wall would work, so they might do a combination if both are approved. They might do a combination or thereof, or either or, whichever they can get approved.
Okay, so does your tenant, is he in agreement with a solid brick wall?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions or comments for Mr. Bayi?
Okay.
Mr. Velez, are we supposed to take a vote on this, or is this
No,
just
no.
information only?
No, I will simply go and sign the COA with what the updates that Mr. Bayi has explained, and that's it.
Should we get the aluminum, the part brick, part aluminum, and the brick, or do you just want one?
I think
Either one? Yeah, yeah. Just so that's of record that it could be either or.
Yeah,
That's right, yeah.
my personal opinion, Mr. Bayi, is I would prefer a solid brick wall. Okay.
Well, now that he knows, his original intent was brick, and when we thought THC wasn't gonna allow it, we tried, doing something that was open, but now we'll take a look at it,
Okay,
definitely.
thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Velez, next item?
Next item is La Verne Apartments. We show here the reasons why we have to follow the Secretary of Interior standards, because we are a certified local government since 1986. Standards are related in these slides. Also, the building site and the setting have to preserve. It's not only the building, but the surrounding, the immediate surrounding, and naturally to meet the UDC and codes and rest of the codes. These are the historic districts of Brownsville and the historic preservation overlay and the two National Register historic districts that we have here, the warehouse and the downtown area. So Alberta Apartments is located in West Brownsville, in Stillman Extension, Brownsville. Was built in 1927. The designer was E.G. Holiday, and he designed these apartments for Mr. and Mrs. Green. You can see there that there were, since the very first time, 8 apartments, and the cost of the building was $20,000. So they were planned so each apartment could have exposure to the breeze through the open court. In 1935, they sold the complex to Fulton Property Company. So we could say that 1927 to 1935 is probably the most significant period of the building. The building was a high preservation priority ranking in 2001. In 2018, it was not surveyed. So the tax exemptions would be available if it is rehabilitated, but following the Secretary of the Interior standards. Any kind of different way would not allow this kind of economic help. You can see here the evolution of the lot. That is the third to the top on the 1957, 1930 and 19 in black and white, and 1957 Sanborn map. The La Verne Apartments appear. You can see that there was a short roof, and then it was extended between 1930 and 1957, and it shows the color Sanborn map to the right. Lot 4, you can see that. So I did, as I do with this kind of very particular properties, SWOT analysis. So the strengths is that, well, the building was qualified as high preservation priority ranking. This will trigger a potential of economic help from tax credits if the building is properly nominated as a national or state marker, and naturally could have BCIC grants if part of the building is developed for strict commercial use. And finally, the tax exemptions. If all this economic help would be granted if the development was following the Secretary of the Interior standards. Regarding the alterations, those probably were done between, as we have seen, between 1930 and 1957. So what I'm saying is that the significant period is between when the building was built and when it was sold for the very first time, I'd say 1935 as much. The strengths are the tax credits and the economic help that I already mentioned. This is how it looked like. You have, you can see there kind of vents below the ridge line. On the first floor, you can see that there are already filled windows and 2 doors facing West Levy Street, West Elizabeth Street, sorry. And the second floor, you have, I think that those are aluminum windows now. You can see that there's a roof there, that it was not the original because it was flat and didn't have a lot of depth. This is another photograph from the side. And this is the rear. This is a photograph from the interior where you can see also the kind of organization of the windows and so with that open space that supposedly was where the breeze was coming and so. So the drawings show this is the site plan where you can see the building on top right, and then the rest is going to be used for parking purposes and a little laundry building on the back, on the back of the building. This is the existing first and second floors. So what when you compare with the proposed first floor, what is going to happen? Well, there's an update that they are going to keep the front windows open, but they are going to fill in some windows on the side facades to grant this organization. This is the proposed second floor. Those that you can see there, those are going to be now open. On the second floor, on the first floor are going to continue being filled. Well, this is a letter of Shinnecock's saying a kind of solution. You have already a copy there, saying that maybe the sheetrock could run behind the window, but that's not a very good solution. But she was explaining that on behalf of preserving the openings. And this is the proposed rear elevation that is not so important. The staircase is going to be there. And these are the northwest elevation and the southeast. When speaking with the owner, I think that the one that are in the middle, the little windows are already filled. My concern was simply to leave 2 single hung windows, as you can see, instead of the classic panoramic, because we will change kind of the whole view. And so that's the reason why those red colors are separated on those big windows. So this is the laundry that is proposed. Our personal recommendation here would be to do a kind of laundry that somehow mimics the Spanish colonial style that we have here, no? That is simply a flat ridge line and so, and that's it, and try to avoid this. So the ridge line, the flat ridge line could have simply a kind of parapet, and then the slope of the roof could go back to. Okay, I don't know if you see the arrow that this is the laundry room. So what I'm suggesting is that simply the slope goes towards the alley instead of having this kind of a roof, and you can do it with stucco or something. The weakness is simply that naturally there have been a lot of alterations, and the building unfortunately was not correctly preserved previously. And well, hopefully now the new owners are going to build sufficient parking spaces to provide, certain kind of relief to the tenants. So the opportunities we were speaking about, having the possibility of the first floor as a commercial use. I'm simply showing here that the analysis shows that 8 properties are right now commercial. Those are in that kind of purple color. And we have a residential property that is in yellow. So, and the one in red is the building that we are talking about. So maybe the property owners could think about the first floor changing into commercial. We don't see any threats right now because there are no retail or entertainment or office projects in the area. And the truck launch food park was completed a long time ago, and it's in 407 West Elizabeth Street. I do think that they are going to extend a little bit that food park to the corner. So the staff recommendation was to approve the project with the following building features: single hung 1/1 wood windows, and they are going to have now the floor and explain what do they want with the windows on front and sides, enclosed openings to bring back original look windows. That's okay. The enclosed openings really can stay filled as they are if they don't want to bring it back. To build on the back of these windows a drywall if needed. That's not going to be the case in some of those. They will explain what do they want. And to set back the double door, proposed to close the breezeway on the first floor, set back a little bit from the facade. I was saying to remove the roof, leaving the building with its original flat. Apparently, it cost a lot of money, and they will explain their position here. So probably we are not going to get the roof open as the Sanborn map of 1930 shows. And to build the laundry room kind of with the same style that we have the main building there. So if you want to open the public hearing.
Okay. Is there anyone here who needs to speak on behalf of this project? Please identify yourself.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Millis. My wife and I, Angela, are the owners of the building under Invest 1111 Properties. Thank you for the opportunity. We did purchase this building a couple years ago, or almost a couple years ago, and it has been vacant for probably a couple decades. The inside was extremely dilapidated, trashed, and full of a lot of debris. Our intent is to maintain its original use, which was an 8-unit apartment complex at its original construction. And so we don't feel like commercial on the first floor is a viable option. Number one, maybe you could do something with the front 2 units as commercial, but we really don't see it extending further west, at least at this time. So we'd like to maintain the original use. Excuse me. I think the best thing to do is maybe address, and I didn't get all of those staff recommendations, but I think I can walk through at least from that.
You want to go through the staff recommendation?
I've got the first few, so maybe we can go back to the front facade.
Yep.
Regarding the windows, we've got 44 windows, and there's nothing preservable. In fact, many of them have already been replaced with aluminum that are also dilapidated in bad shape. So our intent is to install a single hung vinyl white window that matches the existing openings. So you'll still have the look of a wood window, but you'll have the efficiency and for us, a much better feasible economic impact to the project. 44 windows, recreating back to wood is not feasible for us.
Would the trim around the perimeter of the window be wide like a wood window? It's not a real thin frame, is it?
The only original window that we have, it had somewhat of a quarter round, probably no more than 3/4 inch. It's on the back side. I do have a close-up picture that I can show you all, but that's the only wood trim it had. The cement came right to the window on the originals.
Okay.
So we can match that. We can.
Size of the sash, where it's a wooden sash, it probably has this much exposed. The replacement windows come sometimes, you know, the real cheap ones are little tiny skinny things, and some of the nicer ones are a little wider. So essentially from distance, they look just like a 1/1 double hung window that basically looks like the original, but is a different material. So I think, is that what you were getting at? Is that it's going to look like the same sort of a 1/1? Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, the frame of the window is going to match as closely as we can purchase to the original old wood window.
Okay, good.
The second thing, if I can address, I think the sheetrock issue behind a closed window, back to the front facade one, please. we're not proposing to, as you see it is now, we feel like the bottom four windows, it's best to leave stuccoed as it is. Number one, for security reasons. These are apartments. This is a well-walked front, and the kitchen countertops come up to that interior window on the front side. So we'd like to leave this look.
Okay,
The four windows on the second floor will remain as you see and the size that you see.
Okay. So the Historical Commission in Austin is agreeable to not replacing those front windows?
no, those are, I think that right now are aluminum, isn't it?
The upper four are aluminum.
Yep.
Obviously, the bottom four are filled in.
Okay, but the THC is agreeable to leaving those filled in?
We haven't pursued the THC on the window issues. I know Juan reached out to someone regarding that. But we really aren't excited about having an open window that people can look into on the Elizabeth Street side.
So, yeah, so answering to that, I mean, they are not going to, right now, try to get the nomination for the building. That would be the ideal thing to do. And then there's no
Okay.
questions to,
Okay.
to ask to the THC.
Is there a need, Mr. Velez, is there a need to have any kind of ramps for accessibility on the first floor?
Well, that's a good question, but that goes to building permit. So,
Because it's 8 units, it's 8 apartments.
We're planning to have ADA through the back entrance.
Okay. Okay.
And then
Anything
Juan, if
else?
you can switch to the side. I'm sorry, was there another question? Maybe one more. Is there a better side view?
I think that that's the only one that I put in the presentation and this
Okay.
other one.
Same issue here. There's 4 small windows in the center of the west elevation. Those are already filled in, and those are where the bathrooms and specifically the showers will be. So we'd like to leave those 4 filled in. All
Sure.
other windows would be replaced with the vinyl single-hung.
Okay.
I think the next one I had was about the roof. The roof was bridged sometime around 40 years ago. I did reach out to the previous owner. His father bought it sometime in the early 70s. He said, as far as he could remember, back when he was a child, there was the pitched roof on top of it. We did price it out. Juan asked us to bring it back to its original. That's a $50,000 number to do that. Because of the 2 sloped roofs, because we're moving, rebuilding, and then of course putting the roof on top of it, we don't feel like that's really financially viable. And it's a very, very low pitch. You have to travel some distance to even get a visual of that. So we are proposing, Juan, can we go back to the front? As you can see, that slope in the center, we're going to replace with the barrel tiles to match the 2 on the side. So we hope that that will provide an aesthetically pleasing feature to the front. And we're also going to match that slope on the back with the barrel tiles.
Okay.
Juan, now we may have to go to your recommendations. Yes. Just back to the roof. I don't know how the front upstairs units were accessed because there's no exterior staircase on the front of the building. Obviously, there's always been, according to the Sanborn maps,
Yeah, probably through,
stairs from
yeah,
the
probably through the
rear.
little mezzanine that
Sorry?
showed that probably through the little mezzanine or roof that shows the 1930 number map.
Yeah, we just haven't found anything that accessed them, but anyway, we feel like having a roof over the second floor units is more feasible for somebody living there.
You can see
And-
that there was a staircase on the back also of the left.
Yeah,
building.
stairs on the back, but open in the center up to
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
To that front feature
Yep.
that, we just think having a roof over both, or the entire building makes sense to us at this point.
Mr. Velez, go back to the photograph, shows the north side. One more, there. Do you own that building in the back, that gray building?
It's on the same lot, yes.
What are you gonna do with it?
We're tearing it down. We don't know when it was built or how it was built, but, yes, we're removing that and just leaving the front.
So the windows, the double windows that this facade shows, that the northwest facade shows, you're going to do it with two independent single home windows.
They will all be single hung, yes, that was a miss.
And leave the field windows, the little windows that are in the middle, such as they are right now. No?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, and the vents on the front facade, you're going to bring them back like the originals, right, with the louvers?
Correct. I actually have. Yeah, we have one original and one, I don't know if you want to
I think
show,
when,
but that's the original.
Yeah.
And we'll replace, all the vents to look like that.
Speaking on behalf of the council, we appreciate your interest in purchasing a building that has high priorities for historical significance. We would hope that other people would be inspired by what you're doing.
Well, thank you. We didn't know it at the time, but we have ventured on that journey in McAllen and in Harlingen with some other 1910, 20, and 30 buildings. And it's becoming a passion for us.
Good. We like to hear that.
Thank you.
Anyone have any other questions?
One.
Yes.
The four openings that are in front facade on top of the windows, those are vents, no?
yes,
Okay, so should be open?
I think he answered that he was going to follow the existing, correct? Model that you have.
Correct. We're going to replace, obviously, and restore with the original vent.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you.
And there, I don't know if there was one more comment on the staff recommendations, if I needed to address it or not.
Yeah. No, I think-
I don't remember what it is. Can you
Oh, okay,
flash
let me
forward?
check it.
Oh, in the laundry room, we're in agreement with doing the parapet.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to close public hearing?
So
So
moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve with the staff recommendations listed here today.
All right, is there a second?
Second?
The motion made and second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 And those opposed, motion passes. Okay, I need to go back. I failed to have the minutes approved. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Move to approve minutes of March 15th, 2024.
Okay, is there a second? To approve the
second.
minutes? Motion made and second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. All right.
You approve the staff recommendations with the amendments? Such as
No.
the window, the proposal of the window?
You need to speak into the mic. I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. The staff, let me go back to the staff recommendations. Okay. The first one should be amended, or the intention of the property owners is to amend the wood windows simply for vinyl windows as they have already explained, and you have here the corresponding characteristics of the windows. They are not exactly, the second one is not needed because they are going to leave those windows that are already filled. How they are going to maintain those windows with the current fill that you find there. The setback, the double door proposed to close the breezeway. I don't know if you set back that door or not. Yeah, you have right now this front door there. So the proposal was to try to set back a little bit, so to do not be aligned exactly with the facade. Or are you going to maintain that door?
I think there was a sort of a misunderstanding in the motion, so let us maybe clarify it.
We scratched that one.
Okay, these are the recommendations. Let us go one by one, if you don't mind. So we know exactly what you are approving.
Okay, Tara?
We need to vote on each one?
So yeah, the
wanna
first one would be exactly the same with vinyl windows. The second one, the drywall, was especially mentioned for the facade. The facade now is going to be the windows on the second floor are going to be open, so that's okay. And the rest of the window, you don't need to fill anything else, no? You don't need to close any other window. Do you need to close any other window?
No,
Fill any other window?
we're not closing any other window. We're leaving the windows that are currently closed.
Yep.
And everything else will be replaced with the single hung vinyl.
Okay, so they are going to be open. Sure. So we don't.
True, no need for sheetrock or anything.
Okay. Then the third one refers to the double door of the breezeway. It's a minor item, but would be convenient it will be convenient to address. How are they going to enclose the little corridor from the front? Are you going to leave that kind of door?
So your recommendation is to move the gate back?
No,
inside?
a little bit. Not to be aligned exactly with the facade, but a little setback, So really you can read the facade a little bit, and then there's simply a little gap.
Okay.
on the door.
I think so. As long as we have something to attach it to.
Oh, that's a minor item. So then, well, the roof, you're not going to remove the roof, so the fourth would not be, it's going to be amended by keeping the roof of the second floor. And finally, the laundry room, they have already agreed to build one with a parapet and a slope to the rear of the building.
Okay, so to clarify, motion needs to read single hung 1/1 vinyl windows on front and sides. Item number 2 is eliminated. Item number 3 is to set back, 24 inches? Is that agreeable to you folks?
We're happy to work with Juan on
Okay.
that location.
And to remove the roof, is that to be part of the motion?
Remove.
No.
Both
because
roof comments.
The fourth point and the fifth point are exactly the same.
Okay,
It's a kind of explanation, but
All
they are
right.
going to maintain the existing roof.
okay, so I'll entertain a new motion.
So, the windows after discussion today will be replaced with the vinyl, with the recommendations that the owner made today. And working with staff, you'll work on the double door as well as the other windows on the building, correct?
Okay. Thank
The
you.
last 2 points don't apply.
Thank you.
Okay, is that in the form of a motion?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, motion passes. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, next item.
This is the Morris residence located in 1454 West Levy Street. This was the house of Richard and Will Morris. He was the son of L.K. Morris, who arrived in Brownsville in 1904 in the first train to found the Frontier Lumber. When he passed away, R.C. Morris kept the lumber open, but in 1933, after the hurricane and so, he decided to found another one that is Morris Lumber that you can see still in at West San Francisco and Palm Boulevard streets. The period of significance of the house is 1919, when approximately it was built, to 1976, that is when Miss Morris passed away. The status is a medium preservation priority ranking by the 2001 preservation survey, and it was not surveyed in 2018. So if the house was properly rehabbed, they could have tax exemptions. This is the Morris Lumber that you already know. And we've seen here that at least until 1957, the house was exactly preserved as in its original condition, with a front porch and a side porch as well. Now, the difference that you're going to appreciate in the photographs is that the side porch was enclosed and enlarged, and there's another rear addition that links the dwelling with the rear addition. The Secretary of Interior Standards established that you cannot see the solar panels from the street. So that complicates a lot in this case because it's a corner lot. And on top of that, you have a huge tree that you cannot perceive right now, but it's just behind this one. And it's a huge tree. That naturally, any solution that you may want to do on the rear, it's going to be very complicated because then the shade is going to be there and you are not going to really, the solar panels are not going to really work there. The first place that the property owners thought about was precisely this rear addition, but it doesn't work because the tree. So, the strengths I already explained them. It's an easy rehab to bring back the original layout of the house. It's the typical craftsman house, similar to this one, a cross gable house. So you find to the left on the sample map how the house looked like. So this is the current view of the house that you see. You would see that to the southeast, it's that those four windows were not original there. This is the photograph from the 15th Street. So you can appreciate the addition that is in the middle. That was a later addition. So yeah, Mr. Cantu, that is going to explain the issues of the property, told me that this is the only property of his grandparents, and certainly it's true, as the Cameron County records show, because the other property that they hold was sold a long time ago. So the solar panels you can see here, they are showing mainly and unfortunately on the front gables, on the front gables, and also the front and rear gable of the extension. This is a section showing the solar panels. So apparently all the alterations were done before the current owners bought the house. We saw several opportunities here. The proximity of the Caring Palms Healthcare Center could show that maybe this house could be used in the future for precisely for someone that would want to be health related with that kind of business. And naturally, we feel that the that the house could get an easy marker because the owner was Morris, you know. On top of that, maybe if we get a National Register district or West Brownsville, this house right now is contributing, so they could achieve tax credits to rehab the house and actually as an income producing property, not as a residential. And additionally, there could be more tax credits. So, oh, I didn't put the photograph of the current healthcare. The threats, there are no threats that we are able. So I was suggesting to table the proposed location subject to receive a project that could follow the Secretary of Interior standards. But after speaking with Mr. Cantu, I mean, he has addressed several, points here that makes this case kind of unique. So if you don't mind to open the public hearing, we will hear from him a little bit more information.
Okay. Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of this project? Please identify yourself.
My name is Sean Cantu. I'm the grandson and future recipient of the Will and R.C. Morris House. As Mr. Velez had proved and shown that working with the Interior Secretary with the standards that you guys do want to proceed forward, you can see one of the things is that the oak tree, or not the oak tree, the pecan tree in the back is over 100 years old. So in Brownsville, it's obviously a protected tree. So unfortunately, where we originally wanted to put the panels to be able to absorb the most amount without having to proceed any of the panels up on the front side, it's not possible. I have the shade report. I can share that with you all and Mr. Velez, but unfortunately when that, the tree's in full bloom, and you can see on some of the photos presented, it covers a large portion of the house. Furthermore, working with PUB before we even got these permits and everything handed over to you guys for approval, we went through seven different processes with them because the district of PUB doesn't allow solar panel owners to produce over 75% of their annual usage. And so what that means was already with the panels that are presented in the locations that they're at, that is the most maximum efficiency panels that we can get there, because anywhere else, we can't put more panels. PUB will restrict the home from putting any more, and more so the location is prime for a south-west and southeast facing gables. Additionally, in your guys' own language in the document 2015-606, it goes into what the COAs talk about in terms of structural integrity. And in subsection B, subarticle 9 and 10, it goes into basically talking about how any alterations or structures that shall be done in a manner of the additions would not remove or create any essential form of integrity of the structure. What Mr. Velez also presented in the installation specs right there is that the solar panels will not be installed into the roof at any point. They're installed into the gables and sealed. So when those are put in, you're not removing any extra material up on the roof. All you're simply moving is the few shingles that cover the beam, and it's put in what's called a life lock. And so wind protected, sealed, it won't allow any water to go in, but furthermore, it's not messing up the structural integrity of the roof, and it allows it to be another layer of protection. Furthermore, they can be removed just as quickly and will not create any damage to the house above on the roof. So in terms of for your own language, if that's an issue, I have the engineer report as well as where they will be installed. He has the spec sheet. And so I really feel in terms of, trying to find a solution for my grandparents who are retired, they aren't personally speaking to them and they can speak for themselves, but they aren't looking to take the house any further right now. They're looking to, relax in life. And so for them, their average annual PUB bill is around $500 to $600 a year. So on top of that, their solar bill would be $239 annual. So for them, it would allow them to save money and potentially maybe put more things into the house to help restore it over time. Additionally, the structures before they purchased the house were added onto that. I don't know if those had gone through you guys at some point, but essentially the garage space that was added on and then the porch extension as well. From my knowledge of reading all the deeds and documents, those never had attained a COA as well when they had done that. So I'm not sure if this also falls into that same standard. So if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer. But in terms of the case that we have, I feel like it really it is the goal to help them and be able to stay in the house.
And Mr. Cantu also tried to look after locating the solar panels on the ground, but the PUB requirement is
Yes,
10
so-
acres and it's-
So the PUB, Texas State, and installers agreement is that to even consider putting ground mounts on the floor or on the earth and allowing it to not even be on the structure, it is a minimum of 1 acre of land. So given that the lot is not an acre size, so there is no opportunity to put those panels off on in any part of the yards.
Okay, evidently, Mr. Velez staff is recommending table this item. Is that something you're agreeable with?
If table can be defined and discussed as to when the further discussion would continue.
Well, the issue is that after hearing Mr. Cantu, if you table that, then probably the designer cannot find any other possibility to locate these solar panels because of the tree. So you should have to discuss if the tree and so has the sufficient importance to.
Well, the biggest objection, I think, is the location of the panels. They're seen from the street.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, and so what I'm saying is,
You're agreeable to moving those so that they're not seen?
no, so what I'm saying is the shading report does not allow it to allow us to put panels away from that location. That is the only location that gets the maximum amount of sun throughout the day, able to allow them to even produce that much with the PUB restriction already put on top of that.
Okay. Do they want to seek tax credits on this or
In terms of historical designation,
Yeah.
no.
no? Okay. Why can't we approve it?
Is there a reason why you're tabling it?
I was suggesting the table to try to find other locations, but really the oak tree doesn't allow any other.
You shift back to being on
So
the
the
garage?
Yeah, so great point. Unfortunately, like I said, the tree, when it covers the whole entire length, so the shade portion throughout the day, if you need a shade report, I can provide that to you right now. And so,
Has to come here.
That it also shades.
yeah, so it shades basically that whole section right there. And it can't be removed, obviously, for the historical significance of the tree.
And you cannot use here the rear kind of palapa that you have behind the house. For example, to the right, because you have a kind of palapa, then you have some open space there. That is also a roof, and then suddenly another kind of slope there with another roof.
And unfortunately, the porch section that he is mentioning, the structural integrity of that would not be able to support that. So our goal originally was, for me, I'm the technician on this, and so putting those panels in the back right there behind all of that would have been ideal. Again, the structural integrity of the porch that got added on prior to them moving and the shade disposition, it won't even allow them to get to where they need to even meet PUB to help themselves out with the restrictions put in place.
Mr. Velez, go back to the roof plan showing the location of the panels. There.
So the issue is that you have a front gable facing West Levy and you have another front gable facing 15th Street. So the alternatives would be this area that is already with solar panels, this structure, this palapa behind that is flat. And any other gable, this is going to be seen from the street. This probably is going to be high, but this is under the tree, or this one. And if you put it here on the patio that is covered right now, you see from the street. Well, this is non-historical, but you can see from the street. And also, again, the issue is the tree that is here. So when the sun hits here hard on the southeast, there's going to be shade here.
You've got 5 panels there on the front right side.
Yes,
Could
sir.
those be relocated somewhere?
That's the most important.
How to get 5. 5 ones that.
Yeah, it would be 5.
Front and side.
Yeah.
Yes, and so obviously the goal would be not to have those there. So this is the 7th design that we've gone through with PUB, and then coming to you guys, obviously you're seeing just this one design prior to the previous one shown. Again, the structural integrity and every other location that you are presenting for those 5 panels do not have the capability of being worth producing for them to be able to meet PUB standard. The size of the system is already 20% lower than what it could be because of the restrictions already with the shading and then the structural integrity of additional roofing space. And again, shown that, you know, with the installment not trying to damage any integrity to the home, but furthermore, the current owners of the home don't want to pursue any historical, you know, further designation. And for them, it's currently just being able to have money to be able to live in the house and provide for their own living.
Okay, is there any other questions? No? Is there a motion to close public hearing? Is there a second? Motion made and second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Turn your mic.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you. All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I don't see a reason to table it after discussion today, so I move to approve with the design that you presented.
Mhm.
I appreciate you trying to work through that with us. Again, we always want to try and preserve the facade,
Yes.
the street view.
And like I said, if obviously down the line, myself being an owner, being able to take care of, you know, if PUB was able to, you know, remove some of the restrictions on the home, like I said, removing those panels would not destroy any of the integrity. So those panels can be removed in that section, those 5 and additionally. And so that can, the house roof will look back to its old nature as well with the panels being removed. So it wouldn't create any further damage.
All right, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. You guys have a great day.
Okay, next item is 324 West St. Charles.
Okay, reviewing this property was kind of interesting. You see that in 1930, Humble map shows there wholesale drugs and so. Building was still in 1957. So what I researched and discovered is that this was the Dr. Pepper bottling works, and unfortunately it was burned to the ground on 2007. So it's a real pity. The current property owner wants to build a parking space here. So this is the layout. You can see the site plan to the bottom right. The large one, the large rectangle is the place, the Levy Street, West Levy Street, where the current buildings are located, and a further expansion of the building will be built later on. It's another item that I'm going to introduce later. And the other square, white square, facing St. Charles is the parking. You can see to the left also the proposed parking, how it looked like it's just next to the Belden Trail. So we have been discussing with the designer how to move after this parking. The front and rear lot lines have currently link fence. So you know that link fences are not, chain link fences are not allowed anymore. So they have to preserve those, otherwise they should have to build the kind of fence, aluminum fence that they are showing to the right, or they can simply substitute with the proposed design to the right. So, I made here a mistake. I said table the solar panel, sorry. So I don't have any issue with this. We have been discussing several times the design. So what the staff is recommending is simply to approve the parking as it is presented, taking special care of the green spaces that are proposed. That's what I remember that I was reading on a draft. And also the fence that you can see to the right of the slide.
Okay? So you have no recommendation?
No, yeah, the recommendation is simply to achieve, to build what is designed with all the green spaces and the vegetation that is proposed on the regular drawing, specifying the species of those vegetations, and also to build that black aluminum fence where it's necessary.
Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Next item. 643 East Jefferson.
Okay, this is the Angelita Melchor site or house. New research has discovered that the house was probably remodeled around 1979. So the story is that the Fernandez family sold to Melchor the two half lots to the west facing Jefferson Street. And even when there's a mechanics lien, the mechanics lien referred to the house at the corner when she rehabbed the house to live in. So what we discover is that the Lopez's remodeled both houses in 1979. However, all these houses are medium preservation priority ranking. So here we can see that the rear house was exactly not built before 1957. I already gave you the date of 1979 as a probably date to where this house was built. Again, this shows the standards, and so we have it to the building site that has to keep all the kind of features and so without removing anything. And then what I'm showing to you is the certificate of appropriateness principles that we have to follow, or that I have to follow, plus all the CLG ordinances, plus recommendations from the Texas Historical Commission, because we are a CLG. So if you take a look to the papers, you would see here kind of evidences that is a burden of proof on that the property owner has to show for economic hardship. And so then in a clear point here says that the Historic Preservation Commission really the rule says that you can demolish something when you introduce a substituting project and those are ready to be signed for building and COA permits. So the project has to be completed. That's what these pages say. There's also a fine here regarding the surface that you are going to build if you remove or demolish a contributing structure such as this. So this is the house that you well know. This is the kind of flip-flop that is there. The strength is that it's a medium, so anybody that could rehab the property could have, as always, the economic help, tax exemptions, even BCIC money or whatever. The property has been inappropriately altered with the front, let us say, front porch. We don't know any future residential projects here right now, except those that will be carried out later in Adams Street at the corner of 6th and Adams. And the structure could be useful for affordable housing for someone else instead of maybe demolishing. And also we will contribute to have a less environmental impact. We don't see any threats. So I'm showing this because everything is attached to the same kind of project. Okay, this is the house that you already know. This was the Jesus Sainz rental house. So the owner is proposing this render as you could see the house to the right. And then what is pretended is to keep that house and do a kind of restaurant. So you would have a clean area facing 6th Street with a palapa and an open space and so on behind the parking space.
So what is the staff recommendation?
Okay, so, yeah, what I'm showing is, okay, what happened with other properties that the same owner has, how has he advanced, and so he completed the Goodyear building. He's now working on the First National Bank. He got the approval of the step A, meaning that it's eligible and so, and the Sinclair Station, he got step B, and he will probably start kind of soon, as soon as he addressed some comments that the THC has told him to do. The rest, the other investment that he did was the canopies on the Sears building. But as you can see, there are a lot of properties, and let us say that our experience is that we practically have gone through some requests there, including some demolitions. By the way, someone that I signed and you never confirmed later on. So we feel that, you know, maybe a demolition or a relocation of this structure could happen, but as far as the project could advance a little bit more, because otherwise we are going to demolish this house and really nothing is happening in the property, such as this schedule shows. So the staff recommendation is to table the item subject to prioritize, if possible, to relocate that house before losing it, or simply donate it to someone else that really wants to have advantage of a house and have it by his own. Then later on to prioritize also the rehabilitation on site of the corner house. But if it is relocated, we are okay with that, but not lose the corner house, because that's a very significant property. And also, I'm here simply explaining what the UDC says, that applicants that have received an approval of a COA regarding demolition shall be permitted to receive a demolition permit without HPC action on demolition following the HPC's recommendation of a COA for new construction. So if you don't, we have never pulled this out, but if you don't have, and that was this famous substitute project, if you don't have a COA for a new construction, you cannot grant the demolition. And indeed, in the past, we have seen that a lot of properties have gone and nothing happened. So that's a point, and it's in the UDC, in these papers that I have given to you, and it's clearly determined there. Then later on, the number 4 says permits for demolition and construction may be issued simultaneously if requirements for new construction are met. And the property owner provides financial proof, blah, 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 you know? So therefore, to complete the corresponding project, which will also help the owner to request grants for its rehabilitation and introduce the project to potential tenants. Because if a project is being set, the owner can go to BCIC and request money because it's going to be a commercial use, you know, and also with the project already completed, you can show something to potential tenants. And well, the issue that at least my 7 years in Brownsville, what I have seen is that unless you finish a project with all the walls practically, you know, finished, or at least a white box or something, no one is going to get inside because, unfortunately, Mr. Walker, not all are architects and they do not see in space. So unless they can really touch the walls, and so they would not have the decision later to enter into one of these spaces. So if you were granting the demolition, but no project at all, well, that is, as you know, an empty decision, because there's no project to show, neither to tenants, nor to the entities that give economic help. And so that's the reason why, I mean, initially, I don't find too much an interest on that house, but what if someone simply wants to relocate that house within the historic district and rehab it? Because, well, he cannot afford a new one. What is the solution for the corner lot, you know? That should be simply relocated because it's an outstanding property. So it's everything. So the project has to be linked to the two properties, not only to one. That's our point of view.
Mr. Garcia, the staff is recommending tabling this item. Do you want to speak on behalf of this project? No? Okay, is there a motion?
Make a motion to table the item?
Is there a second?
Second?
Motion made and second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, motion passes. Next item.
Okay, this is the place where the expansion of the Serafi laboratories or proficiency test is going to happen. It was never built until 1970 something when he decided to build the existing building. This is the project. The project simply mimics what we have there right now. You will see in the render. These are photographs of the existing complex. You can see that tile all around the top area of the building. And this is what they are introducing to us. Okay, it's another kind of a refrigerated space for the laboratory or something like that. So because it's mimicking, because that building was built in 1975, and later on there was more expansion through the rest of the properties that the Serafi family bought there, we recommend to approve the proposed project.
Okay, the staff recommends approval. Is there a motion? Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of this project? Identify yourself, please.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Ivan Hernandez. I work with Ziwa Corporation with general contractors and designers for our project today. And this is an expansion for proficiency testing. They do blood work samples.
Right.
And they currently have freezers, and they're simply expanding their freezer capabilities. And so we're building this project for them.
Okay.
And so as you can see, it's just a lot more freezer space, and it's very simple. And together along with the parking lot, but in this case, this freezer, it's going to be detached. It's been updated to where we're going to have it completely separate from the existing building. But that's the intention is here to expand the freezer capabilities.
Okay, thank you. Well, the staff is recommending approval, so,
Yes, we're recommending,
yeah.
we're
Okay.
asking
Thank
for
you.
approval.
Is there a motion to close public hearing?
Move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Is there a motion? Okay, there's a motion to approve staff's recommendation. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Last
Okay.
item, this is the Ophelia and Antonio Cruz rental house. I researched this property and I didn't find any kind of historical significance in the old house. You can see here the Sanborn maps. It was not built until later, 1957. Indeed, we feel that it was built in 1959. The other house, it was really in very bad condition, and it was demolished, I think that a couple of years, because the condition, it's in front of the jail, people were trespassing, well, a lot of issues, you know. So this is the current lot. And what they are proposing is a duplex. I feel that there's here an issue with the parking because they are feeding the parking in front and should be on the rear. So apart from that, that's on the recommendations. They are showing this facade. We have been several times through it, and they agree they are going to put We have been with the builder, the contractor has been very helpful. We have been discussing with him a lot regarding the hardy plank and so, and I think that both of us learned that really, well, these are original horizontal wood windows, but when speaking about hardy plank, we were discussing and we find that the best hardy plank would be one that could have 7 inches and 7.25 inches, that exposure the wood, the hardy plank in with 6 inches, because that would be kind of narrow and similar to what we have right now. So there are a couple of examples that meet this kind of criteria. One is the fiber cement that you can see there, kind of imitating the cedar, and so, you know. But it would be a little bit more appropriate, this one, that is flat. Now, the issue is that it exposes more of the hardy plank, so this would be a little bit better. You know, you have again 77.25 and 6. So what we recommend him is, I mean, we don't care. We prefer the flat in this case because it was a little bit nearer to what the house had, but they can do this one or this one that will really match much better, the artisan lap. So the doors, well, that was a kind of a minimal traditional, so it should be resemble something like this. In the future, we will request from the designers to really put all these kind of details, because in the details is where you show precisely what you want to build and if the house is correctly designed or not. If there's any fence to be put in place, the ordinance says that you cannot put more than 42 inches on the front. So originally this house had a hurricane fence, but I think that it's not any longer. And this is the staff recommendation. We are recommending to approve it. Simply, as always, the owner or the designer has to fill out the building permit and the COA applications to comply with the UDC. We do think that maybe the designer didn't consult with zoning because it's not allowed parking in front in the traditional neighborhood. This belongs to traditional neighborhood. So simply you move it and you put the parking behind, and that's okay for us. And then 4x4 wood porch columns, the typical things that we always do. Single home, where we say wood, can be perfectly vinyl windows. We are saying there the kind of characteristics of the hardy plank with the 6 inches exposure. Exterior doors matching the Craftsman and preserve the existing chain link. Otherwise, you have to meet the code, and the fence has to be then smaller, and a dark brick roof. So that's okay if you want to open the.
Okay, is there anyone here to speak on behalf of this project?
Hi, my name is Rick Canales, and I'm the owner of this project, and I'm asking you to please accept the recommendation and approve this project. We are aware that I'm the owner, not the developer, but I'm the owner. The person in charge, Denny Ibarra, he's the one who's been in constant contact. So yeah, we are prepared to follow the recommendations and every single requirement as established. And we are aware we have to build the parking lot in the back.
Okay.
And this is not our first project. I believe we're going on our third project in the courthouse area. That's where I grew up. That's my neighborhood. I'm raised in 1127 East Stater, so that neighborhood, I have a special love for that. What we're doing here. What I would like to, maybe it's not the proper forum, but to bring attention to you all, there's the parking in the back, we're gonna do it. Don't worry about that, right? But something I think that the neighborhood deserves and needs, it's to enforce the no parking in the alleys. Just so you'll know, like I said, this is my third development. People park in the alleys. I grew up there. I was there for 20 years before leaving to college. People just park in the alleys, and now and before it was never a problem because we would always park anywhere, in the front, in the back, what have you. But now that the parking is being asked us to be done in the back, the tenants have been complaining that people are blocking the alley. Just something that y'all can keep in mind that, help the city move faster, move along in a good, positive way. A lot of people block. I think the neighborhood would definitely benefit, especially when there's new development with signs saying no parking in the alley and actually be enforced by the police. But
Well, I
We're asking-
appreciate your comment. One of the other things I'd like the city to do, pass an ordinance that you can't park on your grass.
oh my God, yes,
you know,
yes.
In the front of the house. I mean,
That's
there's
another, yeah, sorry.
a lot of times there's no grass because they're parking in the front yard rather
I-
than on a driveway. I
Yes,
appreciate your comment.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion to close public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve this with the staff recommendations.
There's a motion to approve with staff recommendations. Any further discussion? Is there a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn. Move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes. Adjourn.
Thank you.